Hey YouTube, I was going to run you through a quick assembly of frames from a company bought off Amazon called Maybe. Your bottom or your top rail. I should have done unpackaging. This is your bottom rails. They're smaller than the top rails. You can see, just leave them packaged up like that in a kit. These are your sides. So there's 10 frames here, and then here is a black foundation. Some people have tan, some people have black. I will tell you that this particular company from Maybe does have a thicker coat of the sprayed wax than other companies that I've used. So what I like to do quickly on these is I like to take these, get them all down, and then I take just some Titebond 3 and I just run it down the groove. Some people don't glue and nail, but I like to glue and nail. So then I just take they call this an acid brush, I think, and just or an old toothbrushing thing you have that would help just spread it around. And then I just spread it through the grooves real fast, and then up on the ears, and make sure everything's good and coated. And then I flip it over. I do the same thing. Oh. And like I said, I leave the rubber band on. That keeps them good and tight so you can hold on to them. And same deal, brush it in the grooves. Get it on real good. And then from there, I pop the rubber band off and just set it down here. And then what I do is I take the pile of tops and I set them one place, and then I take the pile of bottoms and set them another place. I'm gonna move you over, see if you can see here. So bottoms, set them over here. And my tops. And what I do is I either can manhandle them, and I grab a pile and I just either push them on like this, and then I set them aside. And I go pretty quickly through them. Everybody has their own method. I'm just showing you one that I like to use because I don't really have like a jig box or anything made for it. So I just stack them up out here out of the way. You might have to, like put it down and push it down. That's how my kids do it when they help me. But depending on how tight the joints are, will depend on how you're gonna execute this. Sometimes they're good and stiff, sometimes they're kind of a little looser. So pop these on. Like I said, I'm just stacking them up in a big old pile here, right there. So then what I do is I come back, typically, and I just turn around. That's 10 of the side frames on the top. I lay the top down. I get a piece of the material, the backer. I lay it in there, and then I get a bottom now, because we're upside down, and I place it in this groove, and I kind of work it in that channel all the way down to right there. Now from here, I typically just set this aside. You could take a air stapler of some sort. I like to use staples with something that's long enough to get in the side. And just show you real quick, I would put one here, center it, here, center it, flip it over, and then you could do 2, boom, boom. So I'll show you what that looks like. You could do 1, 2, or you could just do 1. So you could do 1, or you could do 2. It doesn't split them. And that one did come through a little bit, but it's not gonna hurt. It doesn't split the inside. Okay, so then from there, I just have my box set up, and I just take it over and set it in the box. Okay, that's one way of doing it. How I typically like to do it, I'm gonna show you a little bit my version. And again, it depends on the tightness of the joints from the company that you bought from. So I typically like to put it in here, grab a bottom just the same, feed it in that channel kind of downward, kind of downward into that channel, and then work it down this way, and kind of move your foundation back and forth. And once it's in there good, I would just set it out of the way and move on to the next one. And for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to do this one more and then show you kind of how I would do it without speeding it up or anything. So put it in there, work it in, it's in, and set it aside. Let's just do one more. Pop it in, start aside, this side. Like I said, you're kind of up, and then you kind of almost bring it down like one of those things that the directors use to go like, take one, you know? Do one of those jobbies. And bring it down, get it in there, make sure it's in, and then set it aside. Okay, now that I've got, we'll say all 10 of them done, then I would bring it back down. I set them back up on their tops, and then I would take my gun and I would go real fast. Bang. Okay, once I have those in, I flip them back, and from here you could do it again, which is probably what I'll have to do. These joints are a little looser than I like, but what I wanted to show you is that I typically will take them over here and place them in my beehive that I've already built, like so, and then I would come over here and I would just shoot real fast. Bang, 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 bang. Now, with these particular frames, when I move them, the Honey Supers did a good job. With these ones, when I move them, they like to come back apart. See, because the joint's not quite as tight. Even though there's glue in there, the glue hasn't had time to set up. So it's just easier to put them together on this particular one. Like I said, I bought this from Amazon. It's called Maybe. It's a wax dipped. So again, I used to buy the ones that were just untreated and not wax dipped. I don't know if this one's a cedar wax dip or a pine wax dip. I don't really recall. Sorry for the mess in the background. Well, that one's being a little bit of cantankerous. There we go. So again, once you got them there, for these, since they're kind of looser joints on their tops, shoot them, flip them back up. See, just flipping them up, this one already came back apart again. So these ones are being a little bit more of a pain than other ones, but the foundation, the dip in the foundation, the wax that's on it right now, I would give it an A+. The only thing I can tell you, I've went to, and I've been just using one staple on these. They seem to do fine. But I went to this wax dip because I was getting tired of painting them. I'll tell you, the only thing that I noticed out in the apiary is that the ones that are wax dip versus the white ones, when you go out there, will look kind of normal. There might be a few bees outside on a hot day. There might be a beard. And then on a hot day in the wax dip ones, for sure, there's going to be bees outside and more bearding than what's on the white ones. Or some other lighter colored hive. All I have is either the white or the wax dip ones. So again, we did the one side already. Foundation. And like I said, when I did the Supers, their joints were a little tighter. Don't know why. Same company, same everything. And I just put them together like I showed you, like that. And then once I got them all stacked and out of the way, I come back and I nailed. But on this one, we would have to nail that. Flip it over. Nail. Nail. And these are not nails. I'm sorry, I keep using that. I'm using a big staple. This size here, I don't know, I lost the box. It's probably 3/4 of an inch to an inch, and then I've used all the way up to that's probably 3/4. I've probably used up to an inch. If I run out of those, because I'm pretty much almost out, My little stapler will also take brads or braids, however you say it from whatever part of the country you're in. If I was going to use brads on there, these ones are a 16 gauge 1 inch. And what I would do with it is I would double tap it for sure. So we can do that. Since I only have a few left, we could tap it out real quick. We could slap a set of brads in. Let's just do one real fast. And I found that the tight bond seems to, once it sets up, it does a real good job. It's weatherproof. I don't notice that the bees are doing anything to them. I'm sure there will be some naysayers out there that would say otherwise. Again, I like the staples because you just do a staple. This staple gun's not shooting the brads right now, so I'd have to go get a different one. But normally they're interchangeable. I'm not sure what's going on with them. So that would be that. Again, you could shoot like 3/4 or a 1 inch, give you kind of a representation. That would be 1 inch. It would go that far into the frame. That would be pretty good. And then 3/4 of an inch. Shot from the top would go about that far. So you might get a little more bite with the other ones. So we'll go back to the staples and see if it's gonna shoot it. Yep, it likes the staples. So that's that. Again, the company that we're using is Maybe. It's burnt in. It's got a decent wax on it. This was 30 frames, so kind of 2 deeps, and honey super, the bottom board, the top, the inner cover, and the entrance reducer, and a queen excluder, plastic queen excluder. Pretty much the same that all those companies, the box says made in China, all those same companies have pretty much the same standard. You get 20 frames, you get 30 frames, 40 frames is how they sell them. 40 frame would be 2 deeps and 2 honey supers. So in this case, it was 2 deeps because it was a 30 and 1 honey super. The one thing I do like about this one, maybe a little more than the other ones, they do send you a bag of nails if you wanted to hand nail your frames, and they send you a bag of screws that are probably 1.5 to 2 inch screws. And this one actually will have on all 4 corners, it'll have a hole here, and then when you flip to this side, there's 4 down here. So then 4, and then another one right there, all the way around. I do glue those as well, so I would say I don't really know how well the glue works on a true, like, because they like literally wax dip this whole thing. So and I may have said honey dipped earlier, I don't know, but they're wax dipped. So they may have the glue might not actually stick to the wax, but I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. Thanks for the quick watch. Let me know if you have any questions or thoughts or concerns. Thank you, Gordon Honey Farms. Good day of saving the bees and getting resources, and not something I thought I was going to be into, but thanks again for watching.